Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Megan Peasley, and I am the Iowa SourceLink Program Coordinator at the University of Northern Iowa's John Papajohn Entrepreneurial Center. Here, we work with the Iowa Economic Development Authority to bring the Iowa SourceLink platform to all business owners. Whether you're looking to start, grow, fund, or even exit your business, Iowa SourceLink is here to help you. We provide step-by-step guides, make helpful referrals to our nearly 400 partners, and house the Business License Information Center. We also have the pleasure of presenting these webinars in partnership with the Iowa Department of Revenue. In today's webinar, Matt Bishop will be providing an overview of the tax requirements for motor fuel, cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine, and vapor retailers. Before we get into that, I have a few housekeeping items to go over. First, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available within the next week. You'll receive a link to today's recording in the same email that you received as proof of your attendance. Second, the slides for today's webinar will be shared momentarily in the chat box by Haley Ham. Haley and I will be sharing other resources and contact information if and when they're brought up during the webinar in the chat box. Finally, please enter any questions that you may have into the Q&A box located in the bottom half of your screen. We do ask that you focus on asking general questions that could apply to everyone. If you have a question specific to your situation, we recommend that you talk to the Department of Revenue directly. We're going to hold off on answering any of those questions that come through until the very end. And with that, Matt, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks to everybody at U&I. Really appreciate your help with these webinars. As you heard, please enter your questions as we go along into that Q&A box. I'm running solo today, so I'm not sure I'll be able to get to too many questions during the webinar. But please enter those questions. Enter your contact information if you want a response. You and I will send those questions to the department after the webinar, and we'll be able to get back to you afterwards. Let me share my screen here. Got a presentation for you. Looks like we're going. Okay. This is our presentation, as you heard, for any retailers of motor fuel, cigarette, tobacco, nicotine, vapor, and thrown in devices too. This is our mission statement, just a little introductory information about the department. This is our disclaimer. If you've seen our webinars, it should be familiar to you. Just saying this is an informal presentation. Nothing I say in this presentation is binding on the department. If you would like a binding answer, you will need to contact the department and request a declaratory order for a binding answer. Again, my name is Matt Bishop. I'm Policy Director for Sales and Excise Taxes. There's my email and phone number if I can do anything to help you after the presentation. Introduction, here's what we're going to cover today. This is a real basic introduction for anybody selling, again, fuel, cigarette, tobacco products. We're going to cover sales tax basics, fuel sales basics, cigarette and tobacco retail basics. We're going to talk a little bit about registering for GovConnect Iowa, applying for your permits, and filing your returns and reports. GovConnect Iowa is the department's electronic portal for doing all sorts of tax requirements. Highly recommended that you play around a little bit with GovConnect Iowa. Please get an account. Please get used to filing your returns, requesting your permits, everything good electronically through GovConnect Iowa. What are we not going to cover today? We will not cover anything to do with income tax, other state requirements that aren't administered by the Department of Revenue, city and county requirements, federal requirements, any sort of civil and criminal penalties. My point there is that these are very highly regulated products that you're talking about when you get to fuel, cigarette, and tobacco. It's extremely important that you contact your own experts, attorney or accountant, or whoever can walk you through setting all these up. These are very complicated areas to sell, and if you make a mistake, you can incur severe civil and criminal penalties. So just make sure you're fully prepared before you enter the retail environment for selling any of these products. So when you start a business, here are the steps that you should do. You should identify which products that you sell that are subject to Iowa sales tax. And we'll talk through that as we go along. Find out if you need to pay use tax. We'll talk about that as we go along. Register for all of your required permits. We'll talk about that. And again, a reminder, please contact your own attorney or other expert to make sure that you're following all laws. Here's a quick rundown of the permits and licenses that you can get from the Department of Revenue. We have holding permits in case you have any employees you need to withhold income taxes, sales and use tax permits, the cigarette, tobacco, alternative nicotine, vapor product permits, glass and metal devices I'll talk about, your fuel retailer permits, and I'm not going to cover alcohol, but I just throw it out there because I know a lot of businesses that sell fuel and cigarette tobacco will also sell alcohol. So if you sell alcohol, you can get your alcohol license through the Department of Revenue as well. Now, I'm going to come back to our website a few times, but our website is revenue.iowa.gov. It has a ton of information about all these tax types and more. We've got show you how to get to the permits and licensing drop-down menu, and then the business permit registration. Our website can walk you through a lot of the information that I talk about today. Our website is a great resource. Please use it. It's a wonderful collection of all the information we've got. So I'll start with real quick sales and use tax basics. Generally, what we mean by sales tax is you need to collect it when a sale is sourced in Iowa. What that means is if you've got a brick and mortar retail shop in the state of Iowa, you're required to collect sales tax on your sales that you make at that store. Sales tax is paid by the final consumer and then collected by you, the retailer, and you, the retailer, need to remit that sales tax to the state of Iowa. Our statewide sales tax rate is 6%. And as a business, you also need to be concerned about paying sales tax. So a lot of things that you would buy for your business, you will need to pay sales tax on as well. What is taxable? All tangible personal property, specified digital products, and enumerated services are taxable. We have a long list of sales tax exemptions in the state of Iowa. We can get you more information on those if you're at all interested. But just to walk through quick examples of what you might sell or buy that's taxable: devices, cigarette and tobacco, alternative nicotine products, vapor products, and your paraphernalia that would go with it, your pipes, your cases, things like that. Some food products: alcohol, candy, soft drinks, prepared foods, clothing, souvenir, just kind of general merchandise, anything that you might sell at a retail outlet. Good chance there's going to be sales tax associated with that. For services, these retailers might not be offering many services, but if you offer repair service, a lot of repair services are taxable. And as a business, you might need to buy janitorial or cleaning services. Those are taxable. You may need to buy lawn care, landscaping services. Those are also taxable. Some of the common sales tax exemptions. Anything associated with new construction, reconstruction, alteration, expansion, remodeling. So if you build a retail store, you build your brick and mortar store, that's new construction. You're not going to need to pay sales tax on that. Obviously you'll need to pay your contractors for labor and materials, but there wouldn't be any sales tax associated with that. Services performed for an employer. So if you have any employees and they're cleaning or whatever, you don't need to worry about paying sales tax because your employees are cleaning for you. The big exemption that you would claim as a purchaser is your items purchased for resale. So anything that you buy for your inventory that you're going to sell within your store, all of that would be purchased without sales tax. Food and food ingredients for human consumption, a lot of those are not taxable. I talked about alcohol, soft drinks, prepared foods, candy, that would be taxable. Pretty much everything else is going to be exempt. So a lot of those, so your fruits and vegetables, those sorts of things, not taxable. Packaging containers, so you buy a bag or a box or whatever to hand out to your customers, those would not be taxable. And fuel, talking about gasoline, diesel, there is no sales tax when fuel is sold as long as the fuel tax has been imposed and paid. So you run a convenience store, you sell fuel out of you sell gasoline and diesel out of the pumps in front of your store, there's no sales tax on that fuel. When you make an exempt sale, the purchaser should complete and provide an exemption certificate. I've got a picture of the exemption certificate there is on the right side of the screen. We've got exemption certificates available on our website. Just go to revenue.iowa.gov and you can type in exemption certificate in the search box, and that should bring up the exemption certificate for you. The seller should keep this exemption certificate in their record. So if for whatever reason you're making sales and your purchaser claims they're exempt, they hand you this exemption certificate. Hold on to this exemption certificate for 3 years, just to prove that you're making exempt sales consistent with sales tax law. And if there's any questions, we can contact the purchaser to make sure that they do indeed qualify. This exemption certificate is not valid for fuel tax. We have a special exemption certificate that's used for LPG, LNG, CNG, and exemption fuel. You can find that CNG and electric fuel, sorry. You can find that on our website as well. There is no exemption for gasoline, diesel. If you have a purchaser who claims they're exempt, the best thing to do is recommend that they file for a refund with the department directly on those. You also need to be concerned about collecting local option sales tax or loss. Loss is up to 1%. It's imposed by counties and cities. Just about everywhere in Iowa at this point has a 1% local option sales tax. Just in case you're not sure, we do have a tool you can access it through our website or just go to taxmapper.iowa.gov, and you can look up exactly where your brick and mortar store is and look up, just in case you're not sure whether or not you need to collect that sales tax, that local option sales tax. For your purposes, local option sales tax is going to apply to the exact same items that have the statewide sales tax applied to them. So any of that general merchandise that you sell, if you're in a local option district, you apply the 6% sales tax and the 1% local option sales tax. We also need to talk about use tax. As a business, as I said, you'll need to pay sales tax on a lot of the things that you buy for use in your business. If for whatever reason your seller that you purchase from doesn't charge you sales tax, you're responsible for paying use tax. A lot of the times you might see that with you order something online from a smaller retail, they might not collect Iowa sales tax. And if you're not charged that sales tax, then you're required to pay that 6% use tax. Note that there is no local option use tax. So even if you're in a local option jurisdiction, if you're not charged sales tax, you only need to pay that 6% use tax. That use tax will be filed and remitted with your sales and use tax return. And I'll cover that a little bit later, but you'll pay that use tax directly to the department. Your permit requirements for sales and use tax permit. Anybody that makes taxable sales in Iowa must hold a sales and use tax permit. It is illegal to make taxable sales without a permit. So make sure you've got that sales and use tax permit acquired, you've got it approved and all that before you make any taxable sales in the state of Iowa. I'll come back to this later, but you can use govconnect.iowa.gov to apply for your sales and use tax permit. And you can also use GovConnect to file and remit your sales and use tax. If for whatever reason you cannot use GovConnect Iowa, you can contact the department for permission to use usually paper. So if for whatever reason you can't use the electronic filing method, please contact us and we can get you set up with an alternative means. If you don't contact us, we expect everybody to use GovConnect Iowa and file electronically. Your filing frequency, once you get set up, most businesses are on a monthly frequency. If you're monthly, it's due on the last day of the month following the sale. So we're in October right now. For all sales in October, if you're on a monthly frequency, those will be due November. Had to add up there real quick. Yeah, November follows October. So all sales in October, the due your sales tax filing remittance is due by the end of November. We have an annual option so that if you collect less than $1,200 in sales tax per year, you can claim, you can choose the annual filing option. If you're annual, that return is due on January 31st following the year when your sales tax was collected. We also have a seasonal option so that if you only do business in 4 months per year or less than that, and you collect less than $1,200 in those 4 months, you can choose the seasonal. You can pick the months that you operate. A good example of that is your farmers markets. You might only operate in the farmers markets during the summer months. So you just select June, July, August, September is the only months that you're operating, and you only need to file and remit your sales tax during those months. Going to focus on fuel retailers. Go through our definitions real quick. We have very specific terms that we use within the state of Iowa. You might see these terms. When we say motor fuel, we specifically mean gasoline, ethanol, ethanol blended fuels, ethanol blended gasoline. I will note that Iowa seems to be a little particular in what we call motor fuel. Nationally, you might hear motor fuel to mean any sort of fuel that you put in a vehicle. I try to be precise when I talk about what type of fuel we mean, but just know that in the state of Iowa, if you hear motor fuel, there's a good chance we just mean gasoline, ethanol, ethanol blended fuel. Special fuel refers to diesel, biodiesel blended fuel usually. Then some of the smaller fuel types are also classified as special fuel: CNG, LNG, LPG. Just keep that in mind if you sell any of those gas types. And then we have electric fuel. By electric fuel, we mean what gets put into the battery of an electric vehicle. Here are our current fuel tax rates. As a retailer, you usually won't need to worry about the fuel tax rate on gasoline and diesel. Electric fuel, you will need to worry about collecting and remitting. And then we've got the smaller fuel types there, the CNG, LNG, LPG, just in case you sell any of those. And again, if for whatever reason somebody needs to claim a refund of fuel tax, they'll need to have a refund permit with the state of Iowa, and they can claim a refund with us that way. So as a fuel retailer, you'll need to have a sales and use tax permit, and you'll need to have a retail dealer license. You can acquire all that through GovConnect Iowa. We've got our definition of retail dealer for fuel. Just means your convenience stores, your fuel retailers. If you're selling fuel to the general public for use in their motor vehicles, you're a retail dealer, and you should have a retail dealer license. As a licensee, you'll need to timely file your retailer's fuel gallons annual report. I'll talk about that in a little bit. And you'll need to file and remit your inventory taxes needed. I'll get back to that. And you also need to file and remit your sales tax. So what is that fuel gallons annual report? In January, all retail dealers must report their sales of motor fuel and special fuel in the prior calendar year. That report is due by the end of January 31st. So watch for that coming up in January 2026. You file that report using GovConnect Iowa for each location. So if you have several convenience stores, you'll need to file a separate report for each convenience store that you operate. There's a $100 permit penalty per location if that report is not timely filed. This report is very important to the department and the state. We use the information from this report to set the motor fuel and special fuel tax rates for the next fiscal year. So every spring, we take those reports that we get remitted to us. We collect all the sales data to us and figure out what the distribution percentages are for biofuels versus all fuels. And those distribution percentages are used to set the tax rates for the coming fiscal year starting July. So very important that that gets remitted to us every January. Talk about an inventory tax. The inventory tax is owed by anyone who has title to fuel for sale in their possession at the time of a fuel tax increase. That increase must be by at least a half cent per gallon. Inventory return permit is generally due within 30 days of that tax increase. So like I said, fuel tax rates generally increase on July 1st, which means for a July 1st increase, your return and payment will be due July 31st. That inventory return and the tax payment is filed using GovConnect Iowa. So once again, GovConnect Iowa is super important, one-stop portal for all of your filing, remitting needs. Talk a bit about electric fuel. Anyone who owns or controls an electric fuel charging station owes electric fuel tax at the rate of 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour. The exception to that is there's no tax if the charger is at a residence. So if you have an electric fuel An EV charger in your home, no need to register that, no need to pay any fuel tax with that. When we say residence, we mean any single or multifamily residential property. So your single family home is a residence, an apartment complex, that's a residence. But a hotel where you've got guests staying in the hotel, that's not a residence. So a hotel owner sets up a EV charging station at their hotel. We'll need to get an electric fuel license and pay the 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour on the electric fuel. Important to note that the electric fuel tax is due even if the electric fuel is given away at no charge. So you just, the kindness of your heart, set up a EV charging station outside your business. You still need to monitor the amount of electric fuel that comes out of that station and pay the 2.6 cents per kilowatt hour. There are two different fuel licenses that you can get, or electric fuel licenses that you can get. People might need one or the other, or even both. There's a dealer license where you're dispensing electric fuel into another person's electric vehicles. And then there's a user license where you're dispensing electric fuel into your own electric vehicles. User might be a business that has their own fleet of electric vehicles. Maybe they set up a charger just for use for their own electric vehicles. They'll need to have a user license. Otherwise, you'd need a dealer license to dispense electric fuel into just the general public's electric vehicles. License is needed for each location, but not station. So you got a charging station, you got 6 charging stations at a location. You don't need a separate license for each. But if you got 6 different stores that have a EV charging station outside, you'll need a separate license for each of those stores. That charging station must be separately metered so that we know exactly how much electric fuel is being dispensed out of that charging station, or you'll need to have a study done. We can help you walk you through the steps for doing a study so you can at least estimate how much electric fuel is coming out of that charging station. Electric fuel return and payment is due twice per year. So January to June, those returns are due July 31st. Then July to December, those returns are due January 31st. Change gears to cigarette, tobacco, vapor products, alternative nicotine products, and devices. We've got the statutory definitions of each of these products here. Cigarettes should be pretty self-explanatory. Rolled tobacco in some sort of substance, usually a roll of paper, but not rolled in tobacco. If it's rolled in tobacco, it's a tobacco product. So tobacco products like cigars, chew, snuff, all that. Anything that has tobacco, but it's not a cigarette, that's a tobacco product. Then we have vapor products. Those are usually, that's pretty self-explanatory. I think the only thing I'd note there is that a vapor product includes the liquid, the juice, and it also includes the device that vaporizes that liquid, or the vape pen. So you got, you sell a juice cartridge, it's just juice, that's a vapor product. You sell a vape pen, that's just the vapor device, there's no liquid in it, that's still a vapor product. And if you sell like a combination product that's got the juice and the vape pen in it, maybe it's a single-use thing, that's also still a vapor product. Then we have alternative nicotine products. This is kind of a catch-all for anything that has nicotine but does not have tobacco, and it's not a vapor product. That's going to be an alternative nicotine product. Probably the big example of that is your nicotine pouches, like your Zyn. Those sorts of things will be regulated as an alternative nicotine product. First category is devices, glass metal devices. These are intended to cover glass and metal devices that are used for often controlled substances other than tobacco, although they could be used for tobacco. You've got hemp and other plant materials and other controlled substances there as examples. The big things they want to cover are bongs, glass and metal drug pipes, those sorts of things. We've got an exclusion there for products made of briar, meerschaum, clay, corncob, that sort of thing. So your traditional tobacco smoking pipes, those would not be covered as devices unless they're made of glass or metal. So non-glass metal things, not going to be covered as a device. If it's got glass or metal, good chance it's a device. To sell any of these products, you need a retail tobacco permit. I guess, yeah, to sell any of these products at retail, at least, you need a retail tobacco permit. If you want to make delivery sales of vapor products, alternative nicotine products, or devices, you will also need a delivery seller permit. Then there is a separate permit for devices, so you need a device delivery seller permit if you want to make delivery sales of devices. Note, there are no sales of cigarettes or tobacco products that are allowed. You want a retail tobacco permit. Again, apply for that using GovConnect Iowa. The department is basically a clearinghouse for these retail tobacco applications. We will forward your application to the appropriate city or county. Then the city or county is the one who actually reviews your application, will decide whether to approve or deny it. Your permit fee is $50, $75, or $100, depends on the population of the area where your retail outlet is located. Those permits run from July 1st to June 30th annually, so along the fiscal year. There is a proration if you don't apply for a new permit right away on July 1st. So you wait 3 months, 6 months, whatever. We can prorate the application fee. And if for whatever reason your permit is canceled or ends up being denied, we can refund those permit fees. Note that, like I said, the permit fee expires every year on June 30th. So you will need to renew your tobacco permit every year by July 1st in order to keep in good standing on making retail sales of cigarette, tobacco, vapor, alternative nicotine. As a retail tobacco permittee, your requirements are to collect sales tax and local option sales tax on your sales. There's a separate excise tax on cigarettes, tobacco, that is upstream. So as a retail outlet, you usually won't need to worry about the tax that's already been imposed on those, but you will need to collect the sales tax and the local option sales tax. And again, like with all retailers, you'll need to timely file your returns and remit that those sales taxes. As a retailer, you need to purchase your cigarettes and tobacco products already tax paid from approved distributors or other businesses. If there's any question about who's an approved distributor, we do have a tobacco and cigarette permittee list on our website. Just again, go to our website, revenue.iowa.gov. You can type that into our search box. That should pull that up for you right there. Only approved brands of cigarettes and tobacco can be sold in the state of Iowa. So you'll need to make sure that you're selling approved brands. Again, your approved distributors should be selling those approved brands, but if there's any question, we have a directory of approved brands on our website too. As a retailer, you need to charge at least the minimum price on a pack or a carton of cigarettes and tobacco products too. We have a minimum price list on our website. Again, you can find that. And you cannot sell, give, or supply products to anybody under the age of 21. And those are frequently checked by local law enforcement, so make sure that you're checking IDs if you're selling cigarettes and tobacco, vapor products, alternative nicotine products, all that good stuff. If you want to operate a vending machine, we do allow cigarettes, tobacco, alternative nicotine products, and vapor products to be sold from a vending machine. If those products are in a vending machine, only those products can be sold from a vending machine along with matches. So it needs to be a dedicated vending machine that only sells those products plus matches. The vending machine's location must be covered by a retail tobacco permit. If you hold that permit and you want to have a vending machine in your store, there's no further permit needed. If you are a third party and you want to set up a vending machine in somebody else's store, that store must have their own retail tobacco permit, and you will need to have a cigarette vendor permit. That permit fee is $100. Cigarette vending machines must be located any place where no person under the age of 21 is allowed to enter at any time. That applies even if that machine is turned off when people under 21 are in the store. That applies even if there's some sort of ID checking technology on the vending machine. Very strict. The machine can only be located in a place where nobody under the age of 21 is allowed to enter at any time, even if you've got additional age verification technology on that machine. If you want to sell devices, you must have a sales and use tax permit, and you need to have a retail tobacco permit. Again, you can apply for your device retailer permit using GovConnect Iowa. We will, just like the retail tobacco permits, we'll forward that application to the appropriate city or county. Note the permit fee is $1,500. That's $1,500 per year. The permits run July 1st to June 30th. So if you have a device retailer permit, you will need to renew that every year by July 1st in order to stay current. That fee is not prorated. So if you apply, unlike with retail tobacco permits, if you apply for a device permit in the middle of the fiscal year, there's no proration. It's always $1,500, and there's no refunds. So if your permit is denied for any reason, the department cannot refund that $1,500. If your permit is revoked or you just cancel your permit, your permit fee cannot be refunded. So keep that in mind before applying for and paying the $1,500 fee. As a device retailer, your requirements again, collect sales tax, local option sales tax on the devices, and timely file your returns and remit those taxes. You will also need to collect a 40% excise tax on the sale of devices. Those device returns and remittances are due on the last day of the month following the sale. So even if you're on an annual sales tax filing program, you still need to file your returns and remit device taxes on a monthly basis. Just like with cigarettes and tobacco, you cannot sell, give, or supply devices to anybody under the age of 21. And a little more strictly, you cannot sell devices from a location where people under the age of 21 are allowed to enter at any time or even allowed to view the devices at any time. So you might comply with that by having your store be 21 and up only. That means you have to actually check IDs of people who are entering the store to make sure nobody under the age of 21 is entering. Or maybe you've got an opaque case where nobody can look inside, and you open that when somebody age 21 and up wants to look at the devices. It's just important that nobody under the age of 21 is allowed to see devices in your store at any time. And that would include even exterior facing windows. So you've got a window that faces the street. You can't have devices visible from the street even within your store. Talk through GovConnect Iowa. You've heard me mention GovConnect Iowa. Again, it's our one-stop portal for all of your registration filing needs. I would like to say we have 3 C's of GovConnect Iowa: create your logon, connect to your account, and conduct your business. So I'll kind of walk you through those steps. If you want to register your business, we've got this is what it looks like on GovConnect Iowa. We've got a arrow pointing right at the link you need to follow. Click on that link and it'll walk you through the steps. If you don't have a GovConnect Iowa account yet, first you'll set one up before you can actually register anything. Then you log into your GovConnect Iowa account, click register a new business if you haven't done that already, and then we'll have on-screen prompts to walk you through the process for completing your business registration. If you need to connect an existing business to your GovConnect Iowa account. So again, create your GovConnect Iowa account if you don't have one already. Log in if you haven't done so already. Then you can click request access to an existing account. Got that arrow pointing right to where you need to go. Again, we'll have on-screen prompts that'll walk you through the process, and we will mail a physical access code to your business or whatever location you give us, so that way we can verify it's you. Once your account is connected and you're logged into your account and everything, this is what your screen will look like in order to apply for new permits. We've got the arrow pointing to the I want to tab at the top, and then we've got we point to apply for a new license or permit. This is what it looks like once you start applying. You can see here that on the top you've started, or well, you haven't started your retail permit application. Maybe you collect that you want to, but you haven't done anything with it yet. And then the bottom, you see that you've already submitted your application and the city or county is considering that. And then we've got the red arrow to highlight where you can look at your application in case you want to see what exactly you've done with it. From that screen, there's 4 different statuses that you'll see. Not started, obviously your application hasn't started. In draft, you've started and saved it, but you haven't submitted anything yet. In cart, you haven't paid yet. And then pending processing, application has been submitted, you've paid your fee, and it's sitting before the local city or county waiting for approval or denial. Again, you need to renew your tobacco and device permits every year by July 1st. this is what it would look like in your view when you need to renew your permit. We've got an arrow pointing right to where you need to go. Click on that. We'll have on-screen prompts that'll walk you through exactly what to do. So again, talk a little bit more about the renewal process. Need to have your GovConnect Iowa account already. A lot of legacy retailers might not be on GovConnect Iowa. It's a fairly recent requirement. I'll talk through that a little bit, where we're required to use GovConnect Iowa. If you're used to doing everything by paper, you'll need to start using GovConnect Iowa in the future. Then again, you can create your account and connect your account, and we can walk you through that process. So once you're logged into GovConnect Iowa, you've got your business connected to your account. You can begin the renewal application process from those links that we showed you on the prior slides. Confirm business details, let us know if anything has changed, any addresses, phone numbers, whatnot. Submit your renewal fees. Again, $5,100 for retail tobacco and $1,500 for devices. And then those applications will be sent along to the locality. The locality will let you know what the status is. Here are some of the common questions that we get for applications. Walk through some of these. How do I get started? Once again, just go to GovConnect Iowa. Follow the prompts there to register for an account, to register for permits. The on-screen prompt should help you walk through that process, or if not, you can contact the department directly and we can walk you through some steps. How do I connect my business to my GovConnect Iowa account? Again, I showed you connection right there. Again, request access to your existing account and just follow the prompts. So like just look for that language, request access to an existing account. Here. Why was my permit denied? If you're talking about the retail tobacco or device retailer permits, those are usually handled at the local level. There's a good chance you'll need to talk to your locality if they don't give you an adequate explanation of why your permit was denied. You should get an explanation in your GovConnect Iowa for why your permit is denied. If you're still not sure after looking at that explanation, you can contact the department directly, or like I said, for those tobacco and device permits, you'll probably need to contact the locality directly for more information on why exactly your permit was denied. When will the local authority review my application? That really depends on the city or county. Some cities and counties move very quickly. They'll approve or deny within a day or two. Some take their time. It might take a few weeks. Honestly, that's not something we can answer. You'll need to talk to your locality to find the time frame on when exactly your application might be approved or denied. Do I use paper or electronic applications? Like I said, some of the older businesses might be used to using paper. For cigarettes and tobacco, beginning July 1st, 2025, so this past July, all cigarette and tobacco applicants needed to use GovConnect Iowa. We already had that requirement in place for fuel retailers. Just general sales and use tax permits should also be using GovConnect Iowa. If for whatever reason you cannot use GovConnect Iowa, contact us and we can get you set up with permission to use paper. One of the big problems that we ran into before the electronic requirement was in place was people would apply by paper, and then they would also apply electronically. And it would cause a lot of confusion on which application is being submitted, especially if the application information is not identical. We might wonder, maybe you added a different co-owner or a different partner on your electronic application. That will cause massive confusion. So it's very important that you only use the electronic, or if you absolutely cannot use electronic, contact us to use just the paper. We talked a little bit about new permits versus renewing existing permits. Make sure that you click on the right link. Don't request a new permit if you already have a permit. Again, that can cause confusion on exactly what type of order you're trying to submit, on whether you want a new permit or if you're just renewing your permit for an existing location. We have a lot of resources to help you walk through all the steps that we talked about today. If you need help directly, you can contact the department's General Taxpayer Services account at idr@iowa.gov, or you can call Taxpayer Services Direct at 281-3114. Again, we have our website, revenue.iowa.gov. Lots of resources for sales tax, cigarettes, tobacco, fuel taxes, income taxes, any kind of tax you might need to worry about with the state of Iowa. We have a ton of information on revenue.iowa.gov. You can go to a special webpage on revenue.iowa.gov that has just GovConnect Iowa help. We have lots of information on to cover everything I talked about today with setting up your account, connecting your account, all that good stuff. And then if you go to at the bottom of the page, we have a subscribe to updates on our website, revenue.iowa.gov. Click on subscribe to updates, and you can have all of these updates, all sorts of important information emailed directly to your account. Select your sales or select your tax type that you're interested in, sales tax, cigarettes and tobacco, anything of that nature, any sort of updates, we will email those directly to you. Also, if you go to govconnect.iowa or govconnectiowa.gov, we have the Colonel. We're very proud of the Colonel. The Colonel is our AI chatbot. Click on him and he can answer a lot of questions you have. He can tell you a joke if you ask for a joke. Very proud of all the work that we've done with him, and we're continuing to make him smarter, continuing to find new jokes for him to tell. So any questions, if you're just bored and want corn jokes, you can go to govconnectiowa.gov and ask the Colonel for help. I'd also point out that we have social media accounts, Facebook, Indeed, X/Twitter, YouTube. I'll especially point out to our YouTube account. Iowa Department of Revenue, we've got a ton of tutorials there to walk you through all of the registration, filing on GovConnect Iowa. Super, super helpful stuff there. I can try to look through questions. Stop sharing. Like I said, I'm flying solo, so I'm a bit on my own. Do we have any Q&A? Question, do I get my permit from the state or the city? So for sales tax, fuel, retailer permits, those will come from the state. For cigarette, tobacco, alternative nicotine products, vapor products, devices, those permits will be approved by the locality. So from your city or county, wherever your business is located, and you should be able to access that permit through GovConnect Iowa. So it's kind of a joint venture between the city or county and the state, where they'll be the ones who are actually approving the permit, and then you can still access your permit information through GovConnect Iowa. Yep, and then yep, we had thank you to our folks at UNI for answering some of those questions. 12:45. I see any last minute questions? If not, if you have any more questions and you'd like an answer to us, you can, yeah, if you have any more questions and you'd like us to give you an answer, you can send those to UNI and they can forward those questions to us, or you can contact us at idr@iowa.gov and we'll answer those questions via email. Otherwise, I think that's about all I've got.
Thanks, Matt. Thank you for all this useful information and going through that question. Since we do have a couple more minutes, if there is one thing that you would want people to take away from today's webinar, what would that be?
Oh gosh, get familiar with GovConnect Iowa. It's a tremendous resource for doing all of your filing, remitting, registration needs. I guess I could also put in a plug for revenue.iowa.gov. That's our website. It's got tons of information for, like I said, all your tax types, lots of questions and answers. Hopefully we can address any of your questions between those two websites.
Great advice. Well, it looks like we still don't have any more questions in the Q&A, so I'm gonna go ahead and close us off. Thank you again to Matt for sharing all this information regarding taxes for motor fuel, cigarettes, tobacco, nicotine, and vapor retailers with us today. As a reminder, this webinar was recorded and will be available to watch on our website or by searching for Iowa Source Link on YouTube within the next week. If your questions were not answered today, like Matt said, you can contact the Department of Revenue directly and they'll be more than happy to follow up with you. As a reminder, Iowa SourceLink does not provide a continuing education certificate for your attendance here today. We do, however, send out an email to everyone who participated within a couple days after the webinar's conclusion that you can use as your proof of attendance. The next Iowa Department of Revenue webinar will be on November 5th at noon Central Standard Time. This is actually a new addition to our webinar series lineup, and we are going to be covering the new additions to GovConnect Iowa that the Iowa Department of Revenue is implementing on November 5th. The webinar is going to explain those changes. Then we'll have the Iowa Department of Revenue back the following week, November 12th, with an update on individual income taxes. Check out the registration links for more information. Visit iowasourcelink.com and navigate to our tax webinar pages to sign up today. Until next time, have a great rest of your day. Thank you guys.